Yo, people, what's going on? It's your boy. I'm back again with another video. Of course, I've come to bring you the player ratings for Nottingham Forest 1, Shambolic, No Pressure FC, Bottle FC, Arsenal FC, nil. And man, what else can I say about that game? What else can I say about the season? What else can I say about how we've turned out, how we've wimped out of this league running, of this title running. It's football heritage, as I said, the last hurdle of my live, my watch along is football heritage. We're definitely in a beach. We're on beaches. We we just don't have what it takes at the moment, and I'm seriously starting to doubt whether Mikel has what it takes. But yeah, without further ado, let's just go into it. Um, Start with a goalkeeper. Ramsdale for me, he gets a 4. As always, I think he should have done and could have done better in lead up to the first goal, and for the first goal, he could have communicated with Gabriel a little bit more. Ultimately, I do blame Gabriel for the goal, but as always, he just had one of these more erratic looking games as opposed to his more composed, calm, world class sort of vibe look about him. Um, so yeah, he gets a 4 for me. The back line, listen, that experimental back line, it most certainly didn't work out, does it? And for Mikel to try to do this experiment, second to last game of the season, last game away from home, it's just criminal, bro. Kivior slotting in at left back. Sometimes I didn't know what was happening in the left back position in that game. Sometimes it felt like Xhaka was there. Sometimes it felt like Kivior was there. I didn't know what was going on, but he had a very average, very poorish average game for me. I'm gonna give Kivior a 5. I don't think he was particularly uh, guilty of any direct errors or anything like that. But I think ultimately the whole team, the back line, they had a poor game, so I'm going to give him an average 5. Gabriel, for me, he's the one that gets a 4 because obviously the leader, the more or less experienced player in that back line, the person who is supposed to be the calming influence and the dominating influence. It just wasn't that yesterday. He was at fault for the first goal more than Ramsdale. I think he could have got to the ball much quicker, but he just done a mad spacing on his run that allowed the ball to reach the final third and reach where it reached, and then for Anyehi to take a shot. So for me, he gets a 4. Ben White, he gets a 4 as well. Number 4 gets a 4. Ben White is getting really found out over these last 10 games in terms of pace, in terms of durability, in terms of endurance. I don't know what's going on with his fitness. He just looks very unfit. Gets a 4. Thomas Partey slotting in at right back. I mean, I don't understand what Mikel was doing, but we'll get to Mikel's rating later. Thomas Partey slotting in at right back. Please, people, write down in the comments whether you think it worked or not. I think at times it did because of his physicality and because of his strength, but ultimately it didn't because you saw no relationships there. You saw relationships being broken between White and Saka. You saw situations that, you just didn't understand why you had certain partnerships or certain angles, certain players playing certain positions, and what Mikel was trying to get out of that. But for me, Party, he gets a 5. Number 5 player, number 5 gets a 5 for me. Going into that midfield, bruh, crazy. As always, Jorginho, sitting in that center of the midfield, sitting in the pocket, he always does the bare minimum in terms of ball retention. Simple, easy on the eye passes to his teammates, and doesn't really like to take on the pressure of anything. He had a couple loose shots here and there, um, kind of trying to emulate what happened at Villa away, but it just didn't work. And I think he was the better out of all of the midfield players on the day. So for me, Jorginho gets a 5. Um, Odegaard to his right, I think that was most certainly one of his poorest games. Ultimately, I do blame Gabriel for not being able to defend the goal that we conceded, but it was Odegaard, of course, with that misplaced. Like, what was he thinking, bro? I've watched that over and over again, and I'm just thinking to myself, you could have received the ball, made sure you had a nice touch. You've got the agility. You're not Granit Xhaka. You've got the mobility and the agility to turn around and 80 and 180-degree turn and move forward. Saka was just there to your right. You could have literally just turned your body and passed to Saka and moved the ball forward. But instead, you want to do what you've been used to doing, what it looks like you're just doing now, which is Every time you get the ball and you feel some sort of opposing player coming to press and to apply pressure, you just want to pass it back straight away until you're comfortable in receiving the ball and looking for space. Sometimes it's not about where the space is available. Sometimes you have to create space. You have to be the creator of that space, Martin Odegaard. Poor performance, bro. Stupid pass, blind pass back into a Kieran, what's his name? Gibbs White or whatever his name is. And there you go. The striker, are we Niwi? I can't say. I still, I'm struggling to say this boy's name. Slots it away. Poor joint effort by Gabriel and by Ramsdale to make sure that the goal doesn't isn't scored. But ultimately, Odegaard, bro, you have to get a free for me. One of the lowest ratings because you've been shocking over these last 10 games. The Newcastle game is an exception away because you scored that goal and you galvanized the team, you galvanized the players. But for me, again, went missing when we need a captain to not go missing. Um, on the other side of the midfield, Granit Xhaka, again, look, the fact that he's even starting this game when the boy's been flirting with Leverkusen over the last however long weeks, many months, bro, you get a two for that. I don't care. And you was horrible as well. And you almost made us concede that chance when from a corner you go and head the ball. Such a terrible header. The ball goes back to a dangerous area. And if it wasn't for Gabriel, you're putting a final block, it would have been 2-0. By then it would have been 2-0, game set and match, first half. Disgraceful, bro. Absolutely disgraceful. Up front, we've got Bukayo Saka on the right hand side as well. Listen, the only shot that was on target, but ultimately this guy hasn't taken on a player for the best part of about a month plus. I can't remember when Bukayo Saka had a game that you said, "Raw, Bukayo turned up." He turned up, huffing and puffing, huffing and puffing, huffing and puffing AFC, bro. Like literally huffing and puffing FC. And Bukayo Saka, listen, he's what 70 games. I saw a stat. Incredible amount of games being played by this young boy. He carried Arsenal through and through. He's got so much credit in the bank, so much leverage with the fans. So we have to, tread carefully when we're going into him. And I've seen some disgusting things happening on Twitter already since yesterday, since the live watch along, like being racially abused and all of these things. Like, disgusting, bro. Absolutely disgusting. But Bukayo Saka, you haven't covered yourself in glory over these last 10 games from a footballing perspective. And for that, you're going to have to do better. The season's now done. Just see out this game at home, whether you're going to play, whether you're not going to play. You're most likely going to play because Mikel always plays you. But yeah, next season, you need to come better than that, my boy, because you're going to be on 300 bags a week. And we need you to be the mentality monster that we know that we can see you being. But I'm gonna have to give you a very low rating today of 4. Gabriel Jesus, oh man, Jesus Christ, this guy, Jesus, Jesus. Gabriel Jesus for me, he's gonna get a 4. I think he was really poor in this game. I think he tries to do too much and not enough of his actual role and responsibility, which is to be up front, be a goal poacher, be a clinical finisher, not clinical, not threatening. He's got a threat about him, but I think defenders once they know he's playing this back against the wall kind of thing, and he's nullified. He's not. He becomes irrelevant. He's just going to end up going deeper and deeper and deeper to get the ball and to be involved in the game, and that's what we saw yesterday. It was a poor performance, huffing and puffing, complaining, moaning, looking like a Zet. When he's just always moaning at his teammates and stuff like that. I don't want to see that. In the beginning of the season, listen, I know the guys are done. They're done now. Losing the title the way they lost it in terms of giving it away, themselves giving it away, as shocking as it is. But ultimately, it's taking everything out of these boys. We might even see a draw or worst case scenario, a defeat at Wolves next week. I'll be honest with you, lot. Gabriel for me gets a 4. Trossard again, non-existent as well, huffed and puffed. Couple odd runs that were okay, but he's just he doesn't look synchronized with this team. I'm not gonna lie to you. Every good effort of play that he's done since he's been at Arsenal has been out of his own intelligence and having a 1-2 link up with 1-2 players has been all right. But overall, it's been peak. I'm not gonna lie to you lot. For me, he gets a 4 as well. The subs that came on, Teeny, he did okay, but look at the disrespect. Teeny starting on the bench and man's playing Kivio at left back when you're You're a bad boy of a left back. Tini, just cut. If you got to cut, cut. And Arsenal, it's on you lot to get at least 45, 50 mil for Tini. And if you don't, you lot are just wallads. Nketiah, again, man's is worried about putting on weight and putting on size rather than actually scoring. Listen, average five rating for Nketiah. Tini, I'll give a six actually. Furthermore, he did more. Fabio Vieira coming in 17th minute for Trossard. I mean, that's one disaster after the other. Fabio Vieira, I believe Smith Rowe is seriously going to start considering. Look, I need to leave now. Same thing with Nelson, and this is why these guys want to leave. This is why trust me, Balogun will leave. Smith Rowe, if a good project comes towards his way and a good opportunity, why not? Like, why not, bro? If you're not gonna play, do you know what I mean? And yes, you can say, yeah, injury prone players can't rely on them on a long term. And what do you expect man to do just because he's in a bench? You just want me to play him, but then I can't rely on him for the next game. Or I get that argument, but bro, at the end of the day, you don't really have a lot of options. You need to bring the best of what you have on the bench, regardless if they're not gonna. You understand? And Smith Rowe, he's somebody who ticks the boxes when it comes to those type of situations, bro. He can score goals, bro, out of nowhere. He's a ball dribbler, ball carrier. Like, what's going on? Anyways, yeah, so that's that, people. Final rating for Mikel Arteta. For Mikel Arteta, I'm gonna have to give him a two. That performance was disgusting. One of the worst away performances of the season, if not the worst. One of the worst uh, bottle jobs ever seen in a Premier League. That's almost been confirmed, but um, all but confirmed. You know, in all sectors of online spaces that you see, it's one of the worst. It's one of the worst point swings to sort of give away. You know, looking at where we're coming from, and listen, they are going to be mitigating circumstances and mitigating factors, but all in all, with the exaggerated emotion, with the lack of focus, with the lack of nerve, with the lack of cojones, all of these things combined together, we've lost. We've given away. We've actually given the Man City the title. They won the title without even playing a game of football. Like, it's crazy. They're gonna be able to walk in today with a completely different mindset. You know, you're gonna see players like Rico Lewis and that play against Chelsea. Now you're gonna see players like Palmer because they're just gonna want to just give the players, maybe not, maybe Man City is such a formidable team. They're probably gonna say, you know what, let's start at full strength. I want full. Rodri probably might say, I want to play, coach. You know, Grealish might say, I want to play. You know, just bring up my stats. That's how formidable they are. But yeah, guys, that was the player ratings for Nottingham Forest 1, Shambolica FC nil, and the season is absolutely fizzled out into nothing. We are fighting for nothing, playing for nothing, and we are actually doing it in an embarrassing way. Horrible. Bring that home game on the 28th against Wolves, you know, and it's all about the summer. This summer, I'm on to Arsenal, bro. I'm on to Mikel Arteta. If we don't bring in the people that we want to bring in, and man don't see him buttoning up and tightening up and patterning up in these decisions that he's making, these rookie decisions that are just looking suspect each and every single year in, year out, it's peak. But yeah, people, I'm out, man.